All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 10 Gig Collegiate Invitational Finals. Nothing left to do except to get ourselves into the game. Game one between Texas A&M and Georgia Tech, the two #1 seeds from their respective groups doing battle and hoping to come out on top.
The final bout is ready to rock, and who's going to throw the first punch is the question we're all wondering. We just had a fantastic draft that I quite frankly believe Georgia Tech won.
And why is that? Tell me, because it seems like every team that comes out with a 1-3-1 falls a little flat, and Texas A&M held on to their final pick to counterpick the main top laner, the main 1-3-1 threat in Jupsikid.
Well, you saw Jupsikid in their semifinal match versus Vanderbilt. He had the counter pick against him with the Teemo versus Renekton. It's obviously an unconventional counter, but Jupsikid was able to stall out long enough to get to a point of power where he could take down that Teemo. And so I think that Georgia Tech is confident in Jupsa on that Fiora. He had any choice. He was blind picking top. He knew that was the case. And it was, which does he want to do? Instead of going for something safer with less bad matchups like a Gnar, he decides to go for a Fiora, which he was very comfortable with. You mix that in with getting that priority pick onto the Caitlyn, and I see Georgia Tech as having that composition that is very capable of taking the composition that they've created for themselves and executing that.
Yeah, we have a short audio issue with one of the players for Texas A&M, but going back to that conversation, I feel like Jace is a great pick against it. I think Gnar could have done well as well, but Jace has the range, has the ability to get away, has the ability to all in, not based on a rage timer, but based on when his champ is there. So knowing that Georgia Tech wants to camp around the top side of the map, I think that information can already be leaked to Texas A&M's jungler Glory, who's been one of the top performers in the tournament.
I agree. Glory's presence around the map and recognizing the most efficient pathing for him to set up his team is extremely pivotal. And at the end of the day, these players, all 10 of them, are skilled enough to understand the ins and outs of their lane matchups. And what I look for as a more important factor for both of these teams is which one is going to execute their compositional strengths the most. Texas A&M, tried and true to that team fight composition, and Georgia Tech, realizing this, goes for more of a split push composition, and it's if they're able of executing that efficiently, or if they're going to let the power of the 5v5 that Texas A&M holds so tried and true at their disposal.
All right, so Georgia Tech and Texas A&M getting things started off. Both junglers starting on the bottom side. Interesting. Dragon will skip the Raptor camp and head straight to the top side of the jungle. A little bit of trading for Georgia Tech here. And now the junglers will play a big part into which way this tilts, especially as they focus on the top side of the map.
And so Dragon has to make a decision. Is he going to remain the proactive jungler that we've seen him do throughout the entirety of the tournament thus far? Or is he going to try what Vanderbilt did successfully in the early stages of, Vanderbilt did early in their semifinal versus Texas A&M in shadowing Glory and being more of a counter jungling presence to see if they can potentially see to get some reactionary counter games to throw Texas A&M off their usual strategy.
Right, I believe it was 5-1.
It was.
Or at one point Texas A&M was down. The goal difference wasn't that large because of the skill discrepancy in CSing. However, Dragon getting to work on the top side of the map. YG should have known better. Jupsikid saying, hey, silly, we're going to get the first blood. Georgia Tech on the board. However, Glory said, hey, you know what? You guys can go ahead and take the top side. We'll take the mid side. Purge the Innocent going to be falling here, and that kill fed on over to the mid laner.
And so you see 2 for 2 for both of these junglers as Dragon prioritizes the top side, which we predicted was going to be a possibility. But all the while, Glory changes up his pathing just a little bit and decides to get that kill. Now, both flashes were blown in the mid lane, whereas solo laners, both on opposite teams, securing themselves a first kill. It's definitely creating some different trends for both of these teams.
However, YG had to use teleport to get back into the lane to be sure not to fall too far behind in experience in CS. And although he's died, he has the CS lead right now. The wave is pushing, so Fiora will pick up that CS, hopefully.
right?
Well,
Yeah, there it is.
That's the big factor is, yeah, he had to teleport because he assumed that the enemy was going to push, but because the wave was already pushing into his side, Fat YG going for the fast 2-wave push to crash it into the turret and then get the hard reset to try to get some sort of experience advantage. This is now creating a perfect sense of wave management for Jupes. Kid, so that way he can keep the wave on his side and keep Fat YG overextended, which is going to force Glory to stay on that top side of the map to prevent Dragon from coming in for a repeat gank.
So Glory is working his way on the top side of the map right now.
So
as we have a little bit of trading back and forth. Texas A&M getting chunked down. But yeah, Glory trying to track where Dragon is. Where is Dragon? Has he used the blast cone? Is he at Wolves, but maybe instead he's just going to find himself a gank in the mid lane. Misses the slingshot. Nice dodge from the stretching strike, but which way are you going, Purge Innocent? Towards the jungler. Nice flash, body slam, flash over by Glory. Huge play there, and Dragon looked to be the savior, ended up being a folly. Down goes the mid laner, and Texas A&M picking up a kill.
Glory recognizing that there was no flash available on Purge the Innocent, and while Dragon was there, it was too little too late, as Purge the Innocent ended up having to walk through a huge minion wave of casters, and they weren't able to secure themselves a kill, as Glory is still lurking around this top side.
Yeah,
Dragon is low. He has no flash.
He has no flash. He is low. Glory needs to land this slingshot.
Does he want it? Does he want it?
Nah. All right, and let's take a look. Oh, wait. Jupes, the kid going back and forth now with YG going in. All in. Very low. One more auto attack, and YG picking up the solo kill in the top lane.
Jupes a kid, buddy, I'm sorry, but those minions do a lot of damage. He caught himself in about a wave of 10 different minions, and every single one of them had blood in their eyes and helped Fat YG pick up that kill. And just like that, what we thought was going to be Jupes a kid picking up some solid advantages gets turned right around, and it's now Fat YG back in the lead.
So let's take a look at the last kill in the mid lane, though. It was a great flash over by Glory to set this one up after just kind of moseying along in the jungle, and then it looked like maybe there was a second Purge was going to get away.
No, and you could see Dragon actually coming around for the loop around. You could tell that their communication is where he wants to get it, and then that's where things turned out on his head. Glory is able to flash the flash body slam and pick up that kill to help out his team. And
to sit and wait. And that's what happens. When you don't have flash, you have to just sit and wait and let the wave come to you, as we take a look at one more highlight in the top lane, that solo kill. Again, just going back and forth. It looked so good for Jupes.
I mean, this is just a pure unrecognition. You count the minions, and there's 10 minions in the top side. 8 of them are caster minions, which do much more damage in the earlier stages of the game. And there is no tanky stats on a Jupes kid. He's not able to do anything at all. As now,
back and forth goes this top lane. Dragon trying to walk his way into the top side of the map. Oh, he stepped up too early, and the minion caught him out on vision. Now stretching strike's gonna land. Glory using the auto attack to pull him back in. Shockwave gonna be more than enough. Bot with the B here in time, and that's another kill in the mid lane, and we know who Texas A&M is trying to pick on.
I'll take that assist, said Bot would be here. Roams down, is able to get just enough of a shield, and it's repeat after repeat. Texas A&M knew what their strategy was going in. They needed to get Mr. Black Panda ahead, and as someone who has not been the primary focus for Texas A&M's ganks, he's definitely utilizing this well. 2-0-1, he's up about 2 waves of CS over Purge the Innocent, and because of the massive pressure that they're showing in the mid lane, it's forcing both Doogie Boy as well as Dragon to rotate to the mid side.
Doogie Boy trying to walk his way around. The stretching strike will land, but nothing doing after that. And, you know, now the question is for Georgia Tech, hey, look, we want to have a 1-3-1 composition. Purge the Innocent has fallen so far behind. Do we continue to invest resources in that lane, even though he's losing? Or
to help alleviate a little bit of that pressure in the mid lane. And even if he has to camp the mid, that's what he has to do, because the only way their strategy is going to work is if they can get Corki to this way they can utilize their strategy well. The difficulty with the 1-3-1 and the split push composition that Georgia Tech has developed is that it does not do well behind, because then Texas A&M can either 1v1 and not have to worry about splitting up, or they can just 5-man go in one direction and take down turrets so fast that there's nothing that Georgia Tech would be able to do to counter.
And that's been the story with every team that's played Texas A&M and tried to do some sort of split push team composition compared to a 5v5 composition. They are falling behind. One of those three, or the one out of the four, are falling behind. What looks to be successful is when you have a roaming jungler to get a number. Coordination and individual skills have been huge. Just like this, Black Panda going in onto Purge Innocent. The auto attack not going to be enough, and here comes the cast. Gragas now trying 1v1 prowess the Black Panda, forcing out others. Here comes Jupes Kid though, does drop the Grand Challenge, and Grand Jewel, here it is, Jupes Kid trying. And there's a bit of individual skill for you, Texas A&M. Georgia Tech finding a kill in the top lane.
The stun and the timing from the riposte of Jupes Kid to actually end up locking down is now we've got to fight to the bot lane.
And Doogie Boy has to flash away. Nice Tempered Fate to hold all three members. Stay golden, Zach, and he'll disengage successfully.
Pause on that dance move because you're not moving any farther as a beautiful 3-man Tempered Fate comes down from Doogie Boy as stopping the efforts of Texas A&M. So a little bit of walking away safe and sound, but it's going to be Mr. Black Panda and Texas A&M that do finally secure themselves that first turret.
Purge the Innocent being bullied off the tower, realizes, hey, look, I'd get ran over, so we'll just give up the tower now. Smart play there by him, and Purge the Innocent lead, definite deficit falls even further behind.
There you go.
Definite deficit even falls further behind, and Texas A&M now gonna have to rotate around and figure out how do we utilize this opening? Where do we
has
go?
Flash, so he can come out of this as he wants. There is a big minion wave. The Dragon's coming in.
He is, and now trying to body slam him, and he does get the body slam, does Dragon, and Jupes Kid is now getting big enough to become a split push threat.
And this is what we were talking about. You know, during the little break, we had this conversation of, all right, how is this matchup actually going to work? Because Jupes Kid blind picked this Fiora when he could have picked something a little bit safer, but
Feels bad, man.
In the top side of the map, and he's doing just that. It was a little bit of a miscalculation to get that one kill early, but the other two times it has from Dragon, keeping Fat YG down.
One thing we haven't talked about too much is the bot lane here. Nice escape by Psych and Doogie Boy earlier, but the CS just 87. And Psych holding up his end of the bargain, holding down one of the best AD carries in the tournament, Chuck Normus, and 5 with a beer.
And so now, even though we talked a lot about how Jupes Kid has been doing very well, the gold advantage is still over on the side of Texas A&M, because take a look at the farming that you're seeing in other lanes. Yeah, you've got a 30-lane advantage from Psych, and he's holding about a 500 CS advantage, but you've got advantage in the top lane, advantage in the jungle, huge advantage in the mid lane, and that is where Texas A&M can hold things. Even though one member is struggling, their composition works around all 5 members. And so it's the, hey buddy, I know you're not doing okay, let us carry the earlier stages of the game.
Gage coming in, Dragon trying to get there in time. Tempered Fate not gonna land. Chuck Normus is very low. The ultimate comes down. A big stun to stop the Monsoon. However, the damage has been dealt. Dragoon and Psych, the only one left. The nice slingshot going to land. The auto attack with the stretching strike bumps them both together. Psych trying to get himself out of trouble, and he will not. The rotation out of the mid laner for Texas A&M comes through first. Nice dodge away by Dragon. Flash away. Nice flash away. Double flash away. Dragon still alive, trying to get over the wall. Will his body slam be up in time? I don't think so. There's the smite, and there's the kill.
Being able to take down Chuck Normus, it was the rotational efforts of Black Panda and Glory to help the Texas A&M fray. They're able to pick up the kills. Importantly, they secure themselves the first.
Did land a solid Cosmic Binding, but he did miss the Tempered Fate, which would have given Georgia Tech more time to go ahead and get the fight that he wanted. Unfortunately, because of that, the team falls. Now Jupes Kid and YG going back and forth. Every time these guys go in, it's so fun. Jupes Kid trying to catch him. The minions will do the work, and down goes YG for the 4th time in a row.
And now, Jupes Kid finding the power. Purge the Innocents, trying to find a kill. The only thing that gets purged is his confidence because he dies for the 4th time as well.
Black Panda throws out the dabs, and it's going to be him taking down Purge the Innocent. Again, it's 2 times in a row that Georgia Tech has underestimated the power of a minion wave against them. Multiple members going down, and now we've got Glory. They do not see him. They do not have vision in that bush. And here comes the slingshot.
The slingshot. Doogie Boy has nowhere to go. Glory walking in the right spot. Great ultimate. Doogie and Psych trying to live, but will not be able to walk this one out. Rat-a-tat-tat. Down they go. Spray and pray more than enough. Braga's going to try to clear the wave, but a great gank by Glory gets the bot lane unlocked.
And not only are they able to have a successful gank, which applies that bot lane pressure, which is probably going to end up being the turret, it's going to be Chuck Norris getting those 2 kills into his hand. But Jupes Kid in the teleport.
This is the Big Fed member of Georgia Tech. He is looking for a kill.
Man, how you gonna do me like this?
Nice Monsoon to slow it down. Great cast, gonna find one. Bot with the B here, does go down. Watch the ball, flash away. Purge the Innocents. Jupes Kid still living. Oh, but the big damage coming out of Mr. Black Panda means it's time to run away, Yellow Jackets. And the fly swatter comes out by the Aggies. 1, 2, 3 kills. A triple kill heading on over to Mr. Black Panda.
And the man that we labeled as the hidden factor for Mr. Black Panda, he was not the shining star on the Texas A&M roster. It is his time to shine. The number 1 storyline that multiple people have told us about Texas A&M is that any member can step up at any time. Well, we did not see that from Mr. Black Panda until just now, and he is doing just that. 7-0 and 2, 9 out of 13 kill participation. Texas A&M Aggies are rolling.
They are absolutely rolling. They take the tower, and now Georgia Tech, what looked promising, they had their win condition on the map. Now it's a little bit shaky because YG not only had time to hang out and farm up, he took the tower, and his gold gap is starting to shrink, unlike the one in the mid lane where Purge the Innocents is, kind of just hanging around being a moving ward.
And so... relevance is Jupes Kid, which is the member that they knew they needed to get fed. But Purge the Innocent comes in, and I believe he's going to be able to pick up this kill.
Yeah, Purge the Innocent, again, just doesn't belong there. He does not belong that far up in the lane because
but
there
Janet
is
gets the kill. Janet's mine.
Yeah, well, Janet gets the kill, but yeah, I did all the hard work. But Chuck Norris has the ability to go into camouflage and go into stealth and work his way towards the mid lane. You cannot be that far away from your tower, which gives vision of that possibility.
And this is the difficulty that Georgia Tech is facing with this Texas A&M composition. Not only are they facing themselves against a team that does so well together, but when the Twitch is able to get himself some items, we actually might have to pause. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage. Psych still holding up well, though. Teleport coming in. That means nothing because the top tower does go down for Texas A&M. Georgia Tech now trying to get back, defend their base, and they will. So the tower trades actually end up overall.
They do. It was just enough of a delay for Doogie Boy to be able to secure, but it's map clear-cut victory on that. They're able to get that second turret in the top lane, but they're also able to get the Rift Herald in a side lane. You can see him on the bottom side of your map right now, and I would not be surprised if once these Texas A&M members come back, they try to utilize this Rift Herald very quickly, because in the next 60 seconds, Dragon is coming up, but...
Jupes Kid taking YG to the shed. Will he flash over the wall? No, he won't. He'll just die and go back to the pond. There it is. Back to the fountain you go. YG having his worst game so far in the tournament. 1-6. That's more than all of the games that he's played combined.
Yeah, the difficulty is that he's not able to duel with Jupes Kid by any means, and that's creating a hard spot for Georgia Tech, because now, while Jupes Kid is doing work against Fat YG. They need him in these team fights because of the strength that he has. You take a look at what you have coming out of Mr. Black Panda and the rest of Texas A&M. All it takes is one
Can I
QW
get
combo,
the water
and
cooler
wow,
for my
look,
phone?
damage, death, disaster, Digi Boy, goodbye.
See you later, Mr. Black Panda showing who's the boss. But now Black Panda getting caught out. Great monsoon by Bot with a B here. Psych will live and limp away. And now Purge the Innocent once again trying to fight at 0-7. Down he goes. YG picking that one up. And the rest of Texas A&M will siege up this mid lane.
And the boys from College Station are throwing this game off the mark. The floodgates are open. The Void Rift has entered as the Rift Herald is going to push even farther, and there's no one to help clear this Rift Herald. And so just under 19 minutes, they're going to secure themselves the first inhibitor of the game.
Yeah, they will, and continue pushing. However, on the top side, Jupsikid wants to get something for it. He knows if he goes back, he's not going to be able to help defend anyways, but Texas A&M might try to end the game here. Tempered Fate smartly keeps the towers safe from the Rift Herald. The Rift Herald will not walk up anymore. However, Psych, very low, forced to back up. Lots of damage coming out of Texas A&M. They will get one tower, but did they overstay? Because they're being held, this gives Jupsikid even more time to get in there. However, Glory with a great slingshot lands onto 2, gets them back-to-back, and now Digi Boy trying to stun someone isn't able to. YG very low. Psych locks in onto the kill and ends up dying too early. All he had to do was stall out. Because Psych stayed too long, that gives Texas A&M the opportunity to take the tower. And look at the Gragas gets absolutely deleted by the Orianna. Mr. Black Panda carrying his team right now. 1v4 Jupsikid, can you do it? It is possible. This is the most fed member on the team. Maybe not when he gets chunked right away. Jupsikid with the counter, forced to flash away. That's the kill, that's the ace, and that's the